Hello everyone, welcome to GJBricks. Today I'm going to talk about this. You may remember a while back, it's probably about a year and a half ago now, I built a Sanctum Sanctorum that I've got to say was rather kick-ass. I liked it. It was modular kind of scale, 3 stories, looked nice, all the interior. But it was one of those things I always wanted to expand and improve on. And the reason I wanted to expand on it is if you look at the actual Sanctum Sanctorum in the movies, it's a 4-story building, so hence I've added an extra story here. But there was also other things I wasn't happy with, like the roof. There was a couple of details internally, and one thing in particular that bothers me about a lot of Lego buildings, they look too perfect. I know it's Lego, but a little bit of wear and tear. Like, this is a New York building, it's an old building, it needs just a little bit of wear and tear. I'd have thought about going further and punching a massive hole in it like the Daily Bugle has. Decided that wasn't the case. So I'm just going to give you a quick tour of this. I will start by saying, if you're new here, hit subscribe. I post regularly starting now. I have had a bit of a hiatus. I'm trying to get back on track. I will talk about that in my podcast this week. So without further ado, let's have a look at this. I'm going to do my best to not do shaky cam on this one. It's a big model. It doesn't fit on my desk very well. I've realized I'm working on that. But what I was going to do is just give you this first hero shot here. So you remember originally this corner here, I had single windows on it before. And again, single windows here, here, and here. And I just wanted to scale it up a bit. It just felt a little bit, I'm not going to say small, but it didn't have enough presence having those sort of single windows. So I've upscaled everything to be the double windows. This, the original version I did, if you look at it, was based on the Sanctum Sanctorum Lego set, which only had single windows. So I've obviously taken this step further with my own touch on it now. I've also changed out these bottom windows here to black windows. Again, that's a bit more in tune with the actual look, and I just thought it broke it up a bit more, to be perfectly honest. Made this kind of ground floor a bit more dark and foreboding, and again, if you sort of look at the material, it is quite a dark entry as you go into the building, and it sort of lightens up as you go through. So again, those little touches there, and I've got little bits of detail around to actually try and break it up. The other thing I've done on this as well is I've not only built it upwards, but obviously to make the windows fit, it's actually 4 wider in both directions. So you remember I did have a small alleyway just at the back here. And the main sacrifice here, you can see how badly finished the back is, I didn't see the point in it, is the mechanism internally. Now in this video I'm not going to show you the interior, I'm only going to show you the exterior because I'm still actually working on the interior. There's a lot to do on it, and I had a few pretty cool ideas which I can't wait to show you. I'm also possibly going to light it up, but that's a different story. So you get the idea of, I just wanted to give it a bit more presence and make it a bit more accurate to the movie, but I wasn't trying to make an accurate set. It's still meant to feel like a Lego set. It's still meant to have that sort of playability with spider webs on it and things like that. I still really wanted to keep that original Sanctum Sanctorum Lego set in mind because I think that is a stunning set. I love it. I bought 2 of them to build this originally, and then I bought a truckload of bricks on top of that. So as you can see, I do have lots of features from that original set in this still. So I'm going to go through and show you floor by floor what I've done on the exterior here, the sort of little bits of wear and tear I've put in. Nothing sort of groundbreaking, but enough to make this feel a much better building than it did before. And then I'm going to show you the roof, and I'm really proud of the roof. Now if you've watched Avengers Endgame, there was one scene where they're actually on the roof, and it gave me a few ideas. They also sort of, this is New York City. I wanted to try and capture a bit of sort of New York feeling about sort of the people live in this building. It's a big building, there's people in it, it's things going on, and I really wanted to change that. And the roof was something I always felt was quite weak in the original one, partially due to space, partially due to parts. I got a lot more parts than I had originally. So let's go and have a look at these first few floors. The ground floor I didn't really change too much. I've kept the news box there, the Daily Bugle news box, the fire hydrant, the front door. I like the front door. I've seen some people do some bigger front doors, and I did consider it, but I felt having these bigger windows worked better. I'm happy to take criticism on that. If anybody wants to say, no, I think it works better having it would work better having a bigger door and smaller windows, I am happy to take that on the chin and change it. kept these the sort of gold ingot pieces here and these to break it up, but then I thought I'd add a couple of sort of cracked pieces in as well, like this, just using those round tiles just to make it look like, you know, this is a worn building, it's been there a while. I did want to do it here as well on this side, but the problem with this is because of the way it's built, I couldn't actually get studs all the way to the edge, so it means it needs a little bit of overlap, but I do want to have another go at getting a little bit into there. And again, another cracked tile down here. I changed all of the edging along here as well. In the original one I had sloped bricks. Again, it just made the pavement too small. I did some research and found that some of the sort of modulars do have smaller pavements like this. This sits next to the Ghostbusters HQ, which has a pavement this size, so I could make the sacrifice of making it that little bit smaller. Just those slopes would have brought it out way too far and just would have really overpowered it. So that was the ground floor. Nothing sort of too groundbreaking other than making all the windows bigger basically and adding in this sort of bit of wear and tear on these tiles, which I think does break it up. It does sort of really stop your eye just going, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. So here we have the first or the second floor, depending on which country you live in. I'll go with second floor because this is a New York building, so it's obviously the second floor. And the first obvious big change besides bigger windows is this big round window here, which if you look at the source material picture here, this is in that design. So they've got the big round window at the top, and then they've also got this smaller window here, and this satellite dish was the perfect piece to use there, I thought. I've seen some other people do slightly smaller versions of this window and use Star Wars windows and things like that, which works nicely. I liked it, but this I felt looked better. I've used these pieces on the edge here because the way this joins up with the arches, it looks wrong. There's no sort of way to do the curve there, so I thought by having that on there, it kind of finished it a bit better and made it look a bit more that's how it's meant to be, rather than having that awkwardness of that semi-round bit. Then I've got the green leaf here showing a bit of wear and tear. You know, this is a city building, neglected slightly. There's some moss forming there. And then going around to the center window here, we've got some wear and tear on it. Just swapping out this railing piece for a couple of these to make it look like the bars dropped out. I might change this grey piece for a different coloured one. I'm not sure yet on that one. And then again here, moving around to the next side, the pieces dropped out again here. That grey worked better than the black, although I'm starting to think maybe I should use a green or something like that again, give it that sort of, make it pop. And a bit of wear and tear here where a bit of the building's crumbled away. You know, we've got some brickwork showing through here, we've got some striping there, just trying to make it feel like it's a sort of this building that's been there a long time. This is a big old building that's been in New York for a long time, and obviously never had a spider web on the outside, so should have kept a spider web there. If you look at the original Sanctum, there are spider webs around it, so that needed to be there. The fourth floor is near enough the same as it was, sorry, the third floor is near enough the same as it was. I haven't changed a huge amount, other than, again, a bit of wear and tear. The balcony, I've just set it in. Originally it was on a plate that stuck out, it was awkward. The interior of that floor is now solid. Originally it was a balcony, so the balcony's on this floor. Which is where the staircase, the grand staircase, comes up again. Just little bits of wear and tear everywhere on this one. Again, a bit more wear and tear here, railings fallen away again, and a bit more striping here just to sort of show that this building's old and some bits have crumbled and it hasn't been painted for a while and things like that. For completeness, I will do the fourth floor, although very little changed other than it is bigger now. There's a bigger piece there, there's a single piece in there. I kept the single windows on this floor because it looked nice and it worked well. Again, no change here, no change here, other than we have lost the chimney, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And again, there were 4 windows here, rather than the original. I think it was had 3 windows here, so I just added another window. Nothing more than that. And then round the back we've got the mechanism for the monster inside, which I will show you when we do that one. But as I said, there's no alleyway here, so it makes no difference that this is here. Some people cover this up. I haven't bothered because of where it's going to be in my city, although there is space to actually put a panel over that if I want to. Now here we have the bigger and improved roof area. Obviously the roof has massively benefited from the fact that it's 4 studs wider in each direction, so that makes it much bigger, but I just wanted to put more on it. Originally I just had a couple of pipes on there and a door. It didn't feel complete to me. It was never what I wanted to build. It was kind of a case of those were the parts I had, and and I was a bit limited by the space. But this new sort of design with the bigger roof meant I could get more on here. Garden was in the Endgame movies, where banners on the roof. You can see there was actually a shed in the back as well, so I've kind of tried to put a couple of things in there. There's some pitchforks and things like that up there, and brushes and stuff like that, and a sword, you never know, and an umbrella. And then the gardening, you know, that's what they're going to need to do up there. They go to their calm place. Gardening's important. Flowers, vegetable, self-sustaining. Put this roof light in as well, which I think made a big difference too. Really broke it up, and again, very common kind of thing you see in this style of building. And the one thing I felt that really finished it off, other than a water tower, this, by the way, is the water tower from the Detective's Office set. I copied the design for that one because I felt it was a better tower. Although the original Sanctum Sanctorum did come with a tower, it was actually more of a kind of play feature because it did something to make part of the set come to life, whereas this is more kind of cosmetic. And the last thing I thought this really needed was a washing line here. I don't know why. Oh, knocked the chimney over. I don't know. I just felt like it needed it. These guys live in this building. They do a lot in this building. Don't necessarily have a dryer. I just felt like a washing line was a must-have. And there's Spider-Man's admittedly nano suit drying on the line. I don't know why a nano suit would be drying on the line, but let's just go with that for now. It was the nearest Spider-Man suit I had. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. A few new chimneys on here, the piping, the air conditioning unit. I think that roof really finished off the model to me. That was what this MOC really needed, in my opinion. It was just a bit empty on the outside in that respect because of that missing. It just, roofs are something that are understated, I think, a lot of the time, and this was something I really wanted to shine. So that was why I went all in, trying to make this work. I hope you agree with me on this one. So there you have it. That is my upgraded Sanctum Sanctorum MOC, and I'm really happy with where this has gone. It feels much more balanced, much more complete. I loved my first one. I don't want to say anything bad about the first version I did. Had a lot of compliments on that, but to me this feels more balanced and more complete. I will say it took a bit longer than I expected to do. I had a lot of challenge getting this right. I've never done anything like that before. Getting the thing to feel balanced. It wasn't just a case of scaling everything up. It actually had to kind of look right. And it took a couple of goes to actually get it to a point where I was really happy with it. And I think it's worked, especially the roof. I think the roof really finishes off the outside of this building, but also having that extra floor. It feels like it's got this presence now, and it's much more accurate to the movie. I know people have built versions of this that are on 1.5 plates. I didn't want to go down that path. I didn't want to build an enormous Sanctum Sanctorum, and this felt good. It felt big enough, but not too big. But I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of this upgrade? Do you think this is good? I will be doing a follow-up video going through the interior of it, and then I'll do another follow-up with a kind of top to bottom tour of the whole thing. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you agree with how this outside is looking? Is the roof good? Does the outside look better now it's a bit bigger? Now it fills out the base plate a bit bigger. Does it look a bit more accurate to the movie? I also say, if you're new here, please hit subscribe. I love new supports on my channel, and I've got some interesting content coming up like these MOCs, which I think you will absolutely love, and I cannot wait to show you the interior for this. I've done a lot of research and put a lot of ideas and thoughts into it, and I think you're going to absolutely love it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again very soon.